Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome Dr. Akhilesh Jain uh, for this session on stress management. We at PIT take this privilege to welcome all the participants and Dr. Akhilesh Jain for the first webinar of our series, where we are trying to share the experience of all the learned experts across the country and, in fact, globe. We are trying to identify experts from various parts of the globe, our alumni, our colleagues and peers who are able to share their knowledge in different fields of the society. Today, in our first session, we all know the country is facing this COVID, and there are a lot of stress in the mind of people regarding this pandemic and the issues which are uh, culminating around that this pandemic. I welcome Dr. Akhilesh Jain and I thank him for his valuable time for this session today. Just to share all of you that Dr. Akhilesh Jain has been recognized at various bodies globally and in country also. He has been to UK. He has done studies with Royal Society of Learning also. And I request Dr. Akhilesh Jain to take over the session and guide us how to manage this stress with the global competition and especially in scenario of this pandemic. Thank you, sir, and please take over the baton now, please.
Thank you so much, Goel sir. Good afternoon, dear friends. It's indeed a great pleasure for me being here and sharing my views on this topic, stress management and a healthy mindset of success. I have a close association with the Institute since very long time. And as rightly said by Mr. Goel, that in this pandemic time when we are staying at home and, passing our time with our near and dear ones, we might be having many thoughts in our mind. It could be positive, it could be negative thoughts, it could be a mixture of thoughts. I mean, how to overcome those thoughts. However, it's my earnest request to each one of you while you're staying at home, you not only have enough time to share with your family, your friends, your near dear ones, but also you have enough time to ponder upon your abilities, which you were always aspiring to explore. However, you were not able to do that because of the shortage of time. So it's my earnest request to each one of you while you're staying at home. You are supposed to not only mingle with your family, but also at the same time, you ought to, think prospectively about your career, about your future, and do work from home, whatever assignments you have been given. And today's topic, which has been kept as a stress management, healthy mindset for success, is a very fit topic for in today's scenario. So when we talk about the stress management, we should first understand what exactly stress is all about. So in the most simple term, when we talk about the stress, I think my slides are visible to everyone. So when we talk about stress, stress in most simple word can be defined as the pressure which is experienced by an individual in response to the life demands. So demands can be internal or it can be external. So that would mean, I mean, when we are living in a society, in our day-to-day practice, we tend to come across so many things happening around us, and everything is a sort of stress to us, because we need to adjust ourselves to that stress or to that event, and we need to put all our efforts not to get disrupted our physical or psychological well-being. So any demand that is put upon us in our day-to-day functioning, that demands our resources to come into force and to protect our sense of well-being, is a stress. So stress demands us to use, adopt, and develop new coping skills, because when you tend to come across something new, you are likely to develop new skills. You're likely to develop how to handle that situation, because every day you come across new kind of situations. So you cannot use the same traditional pattern to overcome those situations. So stress tend to give us a kind of learning as well. So in very simple word, stress is when pressure is more than your resources. because every individual has an inheritable ability to cope up with certain situations and resources to cope up with that demand. However, when the demand or the pressure is more than required or more than your resources, you are likely to feel stressed. So what could be the probable causes of stress in a student? It could be a new environment or the new perspective, because when you get into your professional courses, when you go away from your, elementary or higher educational institutes, like you get into your engineering or other professional courses, your perspective gets changed, because then you become more career oriented. You tend to come across, different life scenarios and different kind of environment, which is quite different from your, school infrastructure. So you need to get adjusted to those environment and the perspectives. Then you have new expectations, because now your expectations have changed, because now you are in a professional circle. So you're likely to be, produce the results accordingly. Then you have new friends. Your old schoolmates are no more along with you. You tend to come across friends from different backgrounds. Then the interaction with the student from different background is another source of stress, because in school you have the students from the same state or the same province or the area, whereas when you go into the professional colleges, you tend to come across students from different states or even overseas students. So you have to interact with them. You have to come across handling with their languages, their attire, their way of living. So that again poses a kind of stress. And then, of course, there's a peer recognition as well, because now we have attained a kind of age where we need to be identified. We need to be acknowledged by our peer group as well. So that peer group pressure also remains there. And then, again, very important factor is going away from family and old friends, because while you are in school, you tend to stay back with your family. Whereas once you go to these professional courses, most likely you are likely to stay in hostels or day boardings or elsewhere. So that poses another stress, that you are far away from your near dear ones. And then other social pressures, like you ought to cope up other from your study curriculum, other extracurricular activities, and you tend to compete with your colleagues, your friends, your seniors. So these are some common factors which are likely to give rise stress at different point of time in different magnitude. So these was just a common to cite a few. There could be many more, but just to delineate most important points I've mentioned here. Now, when we talk about the stress, we should also know how we get to know that we are stressed. There are certain symptoms of the stress, which could be physical, which could be emotional, which could be behavioral symptoms, and which could be cognitive. And when I talk about cognitive, that means how you think, how you perceive, how you plan, how you execute. So if you are stressed, or if I'm stressed, how will I get to know that? Or how will my colleague get to know that I'm stressed? Because many times you might not be able to, convey our thoughts, our feelings to our colleagues, and we tend to, agree ourselves with our thoughts. So how my friend, my roommate, my classmate, my teachers, my family members, or I myself would come to know that I'm stressed. So these are certain symptoms that you become anxious, you become nervous, you might become angry, or you become short-tempered in a very trivial things. You start exhibiting your irritability. You cannot concentrate properly. You tend to forget things quite easily. You cannot make your decisions. You might feel sad. You might feel low. At times, you may even cry on tiniest problem. You feel fatigued. I mean, you feel physically exhausted most of the time. Then your mood is withdrawn. You don't get interest with your friends in leisure activities or going out. At times you become overwhelmed with the situation when you tend to come across some kind of situation. You find yourself absolutely berserk. You cannot sit at place. You feel yourself restless and how to handle the situation. You cannot sleep properly. Then you might have change in your eating habits as well. Sometimes you may eat more. Sometimes you may eat less. And most disastrously, many a times, students tend to incline for these, substance abuses, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, which symptoms which we need to take care of and which we are supposed to avoid in any case. Then there are some physical symptoms as well, that you feel tired, you might have headaches quite frequently, you feel your body tighten, there's muscular tension. Then you have GI symptoms, you will find your tummy upset, you might not be, you may say that I have indigestion problem. Many times you do not feel ease even after eating, there are abdominal discomfort all the time. Then you find your heart is pounding, your heart is palpitating, at times your heartbeat is high. Then you find yourself perspiring, you're sweating, you might feel dry mouth. So these are the physical symptoms. So any of these behavioral, physical, emotional symptoms can happen to anyone who is under stress. So if we find that these symptoms, we are facing these problems, or somebody else who is close to you, family, friends, your room partner, if they come across these symptoms, they are supposed to speak to you, they are supposed to share your feeling with them, because these are the symptoms which are sine qua non of undergoing stress. So we need to understand the symptoms as well. Then we should talk a bit about stressors. I mean, stressor is any event or any stimuli that takes place in your surrounding or in your day-to-day, living, and which actually stimulates stress. So stressors are the events that tend to give rise to stress. The stressors could be external, or stressors could be internal. When I talk about the external stress would be your physical environment, your social interaction, your organizational environment, your major life events, and your day-to-day hassles. Like when I talk about the physical environment, if you are kept in a very closed, confined space, heat is very much, there is excessive noise, there's abysmal light. So that all can lead to stress, because your external environment, your environment is not conducive to your living or study. Then if it is a social interaction, because it's your new beginning in your college, so you will come across different friends, seniors, colleagues, how they reciprocate with you, how they behave with you, how your senior behaves with you. Is there any chance of bullying, threatening, social pressure, peer group pressure? So these are all, social stresses which can give rise to stress. Then there are certain organizational rules. I mean, we have to abide by the institute's rule, because discipline is the most prime requisite for a student to cultivate his career. Because unless you are not disciplined, howsoever intelligent you might be, you cannot succeed in your career. So you need to be disciplined, and to ensure that discipline, institute has different disciplinary measures. So you have to observe those measures, you have to abide by those principles, and sometimes because it does not match with your expectations, and you want to defy those principles sometimes, so that again poses a pressure. And then external life event, major life events, like when you get promoted, when you get something new takes place in your life, you get change of place or anything like that, then is again a stress. And when we talk about the internal stressor is something which we generate on our own. It's not in our environment or in our external surroundings. It is within us, like our lifestyle. How do I live? I sleep less, I consume alcohol, I consume drugs, I do not take proper diet, I do not exercise, I do not actually focus on things. So this is my internal stress. I mean, I have not been able to. Then if I have unrealistic expectations, I am self-critical. I mean, I tend to criticize myself for most of the time. Whatever wrong goes with me, I would always criticize myself. I take blame games upon myself. And then if I'm very rigid, if I'm very rigid, there is no resilience in me. I mean, I cannot accommodate with the situation. I want the things exactly the way I want it to happen. Then again, it poses a stress, because when you go into these kind of, atmosphere, you tend to be a little bit resilient. You tend to accommodate yourself according to the situation. You cannot be rigid that I want things to happen this way, so every time it has to happen this way. You have to be a little bit compliant according to the situation. So when I cannot cope up with these kind of things, and I'm not resilient, then again, it's a kind of stressor. So stressor could be external and stressor could be internal. Most of the time, the stressor is internal, because the thing we perceive from a situation actually governs our behavior. So if I perceive something in a different way and rest of my colleagues, they do perceive it differently, definitely I feel stressed because of my lifestyle, my own mindset. So most of the time, the stress tend to arise from our internal sources. So we need ourselves as well instead of blaming everything outside. So this is in brief about the stressors. Now, when we talk about the stress, we need to understand that stress is always understood in terms of something bad, something which should never occur, something which will always harm you. But it's not like that. When we talk about stress, stress is essential for every individual to get motivated, to take initiatives, to progress further in life. How it happens? So when we define stress, stress could be of two kinds. One is eustress and another is distress. Eustress is something that motivates you, that energizes your abilities, that gives you an ability to take initiatives, that prompts you to take some action, that makes you alarm to fight the situation. But after a while, what happens? It will be evident from this slide that if there is no stress, like I'll give you a very simple example. When you are studying in your engineering curriculum, unless you do not find a notice on your board that examination date has been fixed or scheduled from this date, all of a sudden you will find change in your everything. You'll become more alert, you'll become more scheduled, you'll become more active, you'll plan your day. Excuse me. You'll plan your day accordingly. You'll make your chart. I'll study this and this, and your attention concentration increases. So at certain point of time when you are stressed, because when that examination notice is there, that's a stress for you. And that has given you an initiation, that has prompted you to take initiations. So that is called eustress. So as the level of stress increases, your performance also increases. You can see from this graph that when your level of stress increases, your performance goes high. However, at certain point, if your stress further increases, then your performance gets declined. So to progress in life, to do something new in life, you need to have stress. However, there should be a balancing approach, that stress should be adequate enough to energize you, to motivate you, to let your attention be focused, to make you more skilled in problem solving. However, if it goes beyond that, then you're liable to lose your attention. You are likely to feel threatened. You're likely to feel overwhelmed. You're likely to feel, get trapped, and your performance declines. So up to certain level, when your performance increases with the increase of stress, we call it eustress. Whereas when the stress increases even beyond that and your performance declines, that is known as distress. So eustress motivates you, energizes you, whereas distress declines your performance and oppresses you. So we need to understand that stress is not always bad. Stress is essential for you to perform, you to execute something, right? Now, it's just a brief slide about how harmful it could be. I mean, not in terms of your psychological well-being, but the physical well-being. Most of the diseases, most of the illnesses in present time have been linked to stress. Be it cardiac disease, be it your respiratory disorders like asthma, be it your obesity, fat, diabetes, headache, GI problems, Alzheimer's, that is an old age disease when you tend to forget things easily, and accelerated aging, premature death. I mean, everything has been now correlated with stress. So we also call them a lifestyle disorder, because if you do not live a proper healthy life, you remain most of the time stressed. You are likely to develop these problems more than those who do not have it. So we need to understand stress in terms of physical illness as well, because once you get physically, sick, then not only your performance declines, but you tend to lose your classes, you tend to miss your lectures, and that will certainly pay you in future very badly. So we need to understand how stress affects your body as well. So when we need to deal with the stress, we need to understand first the causes of the stress, identification and admission, and then the coping strategy. If I understand why I am stressed, what is the cause of my stress, I can easily address it. I can address it with fortitude, with robust strategies, with more coping skills. So first step to deal with your stress is to understand, identify, and admit, and then you can apply your coping strategies. And it is very important that not all the stress we experience is generated at work. As I told you earlier, that most of the time we tend to look for the stress outside, whereas it is our perception. It is how we look at the things that makes the things worse. So we need to understand that most of the time stress is generated from within, not from the outside. It is only our perception that makes things worse. So we need to first look into that. And then we need to recognize problem. It is very important that recognizing the source of stress or the negative stress is not the admission of a weakness. I mean, if I find that, yes, I am stressed because of this and I have not been able to handle the situation properly, it is not the admission of my weakness. In fact, it is the first step to understand the problem and then to seek the problem solving skills. So we should never hesitate in accepting the things, in identifying the things, and then making appropriate resources to cope up with the stress. Now, we call it a strategy of ABC control, where A stands for awareness. What causes you stress? How do you react to that stress? All right. If there's a exam date has been declared, and now you're stressed because you have not prepared so well in past. Now you're left with one month or 1.5 months. So you will definitely feel stressed. So you need to understand what has caused stress and how do you react to it, because you have not studied well in past. So now you'll have to spend much more time in your study. So you need to be aware of how stress takes place. Then you should make a balancing approach there, because there's a very thin line between negative and the positive stress. So how you take that stress as, if you perceive it, if I take it as like, since I have not prepared well so far, so I will not succeed in my exams and this year is gone. It's not like that. Still you are left with a adequate time period, and you have enough time to cope up with the deficit you had left in previous months. What you need to do is, now you need to put that negative thought aside. You need to innovate new strategies, because now I'll have to put in more effort. So I'll have to spend 2 hours more, and I'll have to give up some other leisure activities so that I can prepare much better. I can compensate for the loss which I have done in my past. So you have to balance that much before it becomes completely negative and you find yourself helpless and hopeless. And then the control, what you can do to yourself to combat those negative stresses. Right. So this is the ABC strategy. And what we can do to manage our stress is that first we need to change our thinking. And how we can change our thinking is, one is reframing and another is positive thinking. Reframing is that you attribute some new meaning to the situation. I mean, situation doesn't change. However, your view towards that situation gets changed. So when something wrong happens to you, you make a perspective of that thing and you become stressed. Now you have to look at the same thing with another perspective. You have give that situation a new meaning, a positive meaning. So the situation remains same. However, your view becomes changed. And with that changed view, you'll be more able to handle the situation affirmatively and positively. And then you should also develop a positive thinking. You should look back in your past success, in your past situation where you have overcome such kind of situation with your efforts. So you need to focus on your positivity and putting that negativity aside, that yes, I have done in past as well, so I can still do that. Then you need to change your behavior as well, because our behavior actually gives rise to most of the time the stresses. How you behave with others, how you behave with your environment, your friends, your family, your seniors, your teachers. That is again a major source of stress. So you ought to be assertive. I'll talk a brief about assertiveness, because assertiveness is something which is very much essential for every student and even teachers as well. Because if you need to succeed in a competitive environment, you need to be assertive. How the assertiveness plays a significant role in our career building, I'll let you know. Then you ought to be organized. You have to be a little bit scheduled. You have to keep your priorities, and accordingly you should work on. And then you should be able to ventilate yourself, because we are human beings. And being a human being, you must very well have heard about this phrase as well, that the problem shared is problem halved. If you share a problem, if you share your emotions with your friends, your colleagues, your teachers, or whosoever close to you, you tend to come out of that stress quite significantly. And you tend to seek their help, you tend to seek their opinions as well. So once you share a problem, you tend to feel relieved from whatever internally going on within you. Then always play humor in whatever situation you are, because humor is the best stress buster. You should always pass on jokes and good remarks, and you should appreciate others' good remark as well, and should never, be cynical about others' remark, because it might well be said for your well-being. So we should always take things in humor. And then divergent distraction is equally important. Many times we cannot change the situation. Many times it is not in our hand to handle the situation immediately. So the best way is to get yourself distracted, to take rest for a while, to get away from that situation, rebuild your thought, rethink about the problem, then come back to the problem and solve it. Because don't bother yourself much, because many times situations are not in our hand. So when we find that situation is not in our hand, it is better to take a break, relax yourself, think again, think alternatives, and then come back to the situation. Because once you take rest or break in between, you can have better options available with you when you come back to the situation. Then your lifestyle is very important while you're dealing with your stress. You have to have a good diet. Your diet should be rich in fibers. You should not take junk food much, as it happens generally in hostels. Smoking and alcohol are strongly not advisable. You should never, because it's a common myth that you can resolve your worries, you can resolve your stress in liquor. It doesn't happen. In fact, it exaggerates. It will exaggerate your problem, and you might land up in depression as well. So you should never get into these habits of smoking and alcohol consumption. Give some time to exercise. Exercise does not mean that you have to go gymming every day. You need to spend some time meditating, relaxing yourself, walking, strolling, or whatever way you find it's good, leisure, music. You need to give some time to your body and yourself. Now, I would like to tell you a brief about how assertiveness is important in our career building and our day-to-day functioning. Assertiveness means you must be able to express your feelings, your thoughts to someone without fear. But you should also respect his dignity. You should respect the boundaries. If you are talking to your senior and you want to convey your message, it should be clear, it should be elaborative. However, it should not be threatening. It should not be a kind of, arrogant kind of conversation. You are expressing yourself, but at the same time, you're maintaining the dignity of the individual whom you're talking to. So assertiveness helps to manage the stressful situation and reduces its frequency. Whereas lack of assertiveness shows your low self-esteem. It could be verbal, it could be non-verbal. When we communicate with someone, one is verbal communication, but at the same time, your non-verbal communication is equally important. Your facial gestures, how you are expressing yourself, conveys a significant message. So you ought to be assertive, means you must be able to convey your message precisely, clearly, elaboratively. So being assertive involves you are standing up for your personal rights and expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs directly, honestly, and spontaneously in a way that you don't infringe the right of others. Assertiveness does not mean that I have been asked to be assertive, so I can go to anyone, I can speak anything, I can shout, I can yell, I can scream at the top of my lung. It's not like that. Assertiveness means you are polite, you are humble, still you are expressing your views, respecting the dignity of the individual whom you are talking to. So the key component is I have the right to express my feeling, I have the right to express my opinions, I have the right to say yes or no, I have the right to say that I don't understand, please repeat. and I have the right to be myself. I mean, I cannot be someone who is labeled by others. So I ought to have all these things. And assertive people, they respect themselves. They also respect others. They take the responsibilities. They ask openly for what they want. Their self-confidence remains intact, and they are not reliant on approval of others. And how we do it? You have to establish good eye contact. You should stand comfortably. You should not squirm on the chair, or while you're standing, you should not fidget around. You talk in a firm and a steady voice. However, your voice should be soft in the sense that you convey the message properly. However, it should be with a great humility, respect, and it should be concise and to the point. It's not something you become too elaborative that you tend to forget what you are supposed to convey the message. You ought to be very specific, to the point, and very precise. And the benefits of self-esteem is, the benefits of being assertive is, it increases your self-esteem, your anxiety is reduced, you can manage stress more successfully, and you appreciate yourself, and you have a feeling of high control. With this, I have a couple of slides, as I was told, about the positive mindset or the healthy mindset. So I'll go very brief in about what exactly the healthy mindset is all about. A healthy mindset is your ability to focus on the positive aspects, anticipate positive outcome, and work out the challenges with positive attitude. Howsoever adverse the situation may be, you always look at it in a positive manner, you expect a positive outcome, and you deal with the situation with a positive attitude. When we do so, we need to identify that our negative thinking takes place because of some of the factors, and these factors are, one is filtering. Filtering means what happens, everything goes good with you in your entire day. If anything goes wrong at the end of the day, you tend to focus all those good things which happen to you the whole day, and you become focused on one bad thing, and your whole everything is spoiled. You tend to forget what good has happened throughout the day, but you will focus on one minor bad thing. So you are filtering those things. It should not be there. Then personalizing. Personalizing means you always tend to attribute whatever wrong happens with you. If something goes wrong in your circle, you will find yourself responsible for that. That is not correct. Then catastrophizing. Catastrophizing means if something goes wrong with you in the beginning of the day, many times we say that now our whole day will go bad. Nothing will go good today because this thing has happened. So we tend to catastrophize the events. It might have been an incidental kind of happening which took place, and subsequently you might be going to be rewarded in many ways. But since the beginning has taken place badly, so you catastrophize the whole day. And then polarizing. Polarizing means you are very rigid. You take things in a way all or none. Means either it is good or it's bad, but it's not always like that. You need to be resilient. You need to be compliant. Sometimes you need to be adaptable, right? So these are the factors which actually, build our negative thinkings. And what is the traits of a positive mindset? You ought to be optimist. Optimist means assuming that my efforts will not pay off. Still, I'll take the chance to handle the bad situation. Acknowledgement, you need to acknowledge that everything is not in your hand. Sometimes things are beyond your ability to control. Still, you learn from that, you adapt with that. Then gratitude. You must owe thanks to those who have been doing good to you. You must be thankful to everyone, your family, your friend, your teachers, your colleagues who have been doing good for you. So you must have to express your gratitude. Then the integrity, that is your righteousness, your straightforwardness, your honesty, that plays a significant role. And mindfulness means you are focused on what is going around. You're not distracted. So you have to define your interpretation that negative emotions hones your focus on enhancing your survival skills. Negative emotions does not mean that it will always do bad to you. Unless you have not been exposed to it, you cannot develop survival skills. If there are no exams, you will never learn how to compete. So the threatening situation gives you a more chance to learn survival skills, whereas positive emotions always build your learning skills. So both kind of emotions have equal importance in your life. Then these are some points how to attain positive mindset. You have to have a positive affirmation. regardless of the nature and the size of the good thing. You must focus on it, learn from your failures, transform negative self-talk into positive self-talk, stay much focused on the present, and strive to look for the good people with the positivity. Because if you're surrounded by good people with a positive mindset, you are likely to become like that. If you are surrounded by pessimists who always thinks bad, you are likely to get influenced by them. So your surrounding, your colleagues, your fraternity should have that kind of mindset. And this is the recipe of a healthy mindset. You have the gratitude, deep, calm breathing. You have to introspect yourself. You have to define yourself. You should be engaged in positive activities. You must have a critical appraisal of the situation that, yes, this is the kind of situation. I can do this much in this and I'll do this much again. Don't torture much yourself. And then how to get trained? You must assess your strength, how those strengths have worked in past, what are the weakness your strength is, how you can improve that. Then you should also think retrospectively how best you have done. That will give you a boost to do better in your future. Then you have to be appreciative for others' good deed. You have to be thankful. You should write your positive experiences, and when you read them in morning, that will give you a boost that yes, good things have happened to you. And then protective dynamics. I mean, these are your traits which keeps you strong in adverse situation, like your social support, your coping skills, your physical health, your sense of purpose, your self-esteem. And you should think that what kind of protective dynamics have helped you in an adverse situation, and what dynamics you still need to improve, and how it will help you in future. So these are your protective dynamics. And then your positive experience, what you have come across these experiences, bravery, compassion, altruism, how you help others, your love, sacrifice, that will again boost your morale. So in nutshell, you should ensure your well-being, that you being kind to yourself, exercise regularly, take up your hobbies, learn new skills, have fun, be creative, help others, relax, eat healthy. You have to have a balanced sleep, connect with others, be it your seniors, your juniors, your colleagues. Always avoid drinking and drugs. See the picture in perspective. Do not expect everything be as precise as you want, because that is the biggest cause of our stress. We have to be compliant. We have to be reality oriented. Then you have to be resilient. Do not be so firm that you cannot cope up with the situation. You have to be adaptable to the situation accordingly. With this, I'll finish with two great remarks. Once Winston Churchill had said that a pessimist sees the things in every opportunity, whereas an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Similarly, Martin Luther King had said a very great word about optimism. Even if I knew that tomorrow the world would go into the pieces, I would still plant my apple tree. That is the real optimism. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So always look forward, always be positive, always be assertive. You will certainly succeed. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone?
Hello.
Yeah. Anybody? Any query?
Yes, we are waiting for queries. Participants, please, if you have any queries, so please ask to the sir. We have one question in Dropbox. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mohit Vajpayee. Hello, sir. Akhilesh, sir.
Yeah.
There will be a question asked by the participants that, sir, when I want to do something in our whole daily lives, the stress is generated automatically.
Sorry?
So the participant wants to ask something like that.
Yeah.
How to manage the stress which generates automatically, and how we will manage that?
Yeah, that is what I've told you. You know, every situation, everything you do is a kind of stress, because whatever you're going to do, it certainly poses some kind of stress, and stress is necessary. If you start something, unless you are not stressed, you will not take initiatives. So, like if I give an example, suppose I was planning to go somewhere, however, it was not scheduled. Now, all of a sudden, I get a call that you need to be there day after tomorrow. So it would be a kind of stress for me that Now I have to be there day after tomorrow. So now I will be prompted to take actions, because until now I was rest assured that I have to go, but I was quite, restful, and I had no worry about it, that okay, I'll do it. So I was actually, prolonging, I was procrastinating the situation. Now since the stress is there, so I am alarmed. I have to take the initiatives, and accordingly I have to work. Now issue is that in that scenario, sometimes what happens, we tend to rush up things so fast that we tend to forget so many things. So you have to chart out, you have to plan accordingly. What are your priorities? What you need to do first? First do that, then come to the next step. Not like that, what you were supposed to do later, you have started that first, and then you immediately, remember, oh, I forgot this thing. I was supposed to do this first. So you have to prioritize your things. You have to think calmly, and then you have to work on it. And if you find that somewhere you are stuck up with your problems, take a break, relax for a while, ponder upon your situation again. You will get another alternatives, work on that, and you will go on.
Thank you, sir. One more question is from the participants in the chat box. We want to ask that, sir, does stress can be completely removed, or in life it strikes back and leave its impact?
No, stress, as long as you are living, you're surviving, stress will always remain there. And stress has to be there. It is not something that one day I'll become completely stress free. It can never happen, because you never know what's going to happen to you next moment. So stress is always going to live with you. As long as you are living, stress will live with you. The beauty is that how you live with stress. Important is that. एक कहते हैं कि आप नजरिया बदलिए. तो आपके साथ स्ट्रेस हमेशा रहेगा. आप स्ट्रेस को कैसे देखते हैं, आप उसको कैसे समझते हैं. You see, I give you a simple paradigm. In a class, if a teacher has scolded 10 students, all right, for the same thing, 5 students might take it in a positive sense, that yes, teacher is actually caring about us. He cares about our future. That's why he has scolded us, he has reprimanded us, and he wants us to build our future. So they will work positively. Whereas rest of the 5 students might take it other way, that yeah, he always keeps cribbing on our endeavors. He always keeps shouting on us. So he actually doesn't like us, and he doesn't want us to grow. So the perspective is same, scenario is same, situation is same, people are same, still the perception is different. So similarly, stress is always going to live with you. You have to look at it with your own perspective, and that perspective should be positive. And if stress is not there, you cannot succeed. You have to live with the stress, because stress prompts you to compete, stress prompts you to succeed.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. One more question is there. Participant wants to ask that what kind of health impacts we are seeking when we have negative stress as a usual thing we are taking them.
Yeah, and definitely, as I told you earlier in my slides, it could be a psychological impact, it could be emotional impact, it could be behavioral impact, or it could be physical impact. When we talk about the psychological and emotional impact, it could be increased irritability, lack of concentration, forgetfulness, difficulty in decision making, poor peer group relationship, tendency to incline for substance abuse, alcohol drinking, your disturbed sleep, disturbed appetite, poor frustration tolerance. You tend to get aggressive very soon. These are the emotional behavioral symptoms. And when we talk about the physical symptoms, you are more likely to develop diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problems, asthma, respiratory problems, and so many other lifestyle disorders. So stress is underlying cause for almost any type of psychological problem as well as physical problems.
Thank you, sir. One more question is there. A participant want to ask that what we can do when we have as negative people in our surroundings. Of course we are moving now, we are moving in the lockdown 4.0, and there are many kind of works we are releasing on. So if the persons we are having in our surroundings and they are releasing some kind of negative thought processes, so how to deal with that?
That's a perfect question, very relevant question. I mean, as I told in one of my slides, that you need to get into the company of the positive people. However, sometimes you might get people like who are of different mindset, who always tries to discourage you, would always mend up your mindset, in a different perspective, which is not congenial to you for your growth. So what you need to do is, first thing, you try to negotiate with them. You try to make them understand that these things are not good, these things are not appropriate, and you need to resolve their misconceptions, and you try to resolve their problems and their negative attitude. However, if you find it not working, it is better to get away, better to get off from them. It is better to get into the company of the positive people. Because if you remain surrounded with these kind of people, you are likely to get influenced by them at one point of time. So it does not mean that you have totally, ostracized them or totally, relegated them from your life. But you need to progressively get away from them, not making them feel that you have totally made them cut off. You should keep them in your touch, however, only to an extent where you can say them hello, hi, and kind of things, but not to share your emotions and your full feelings to an extent which you feel might influence you adversely.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. One more question is
Yeah.
there. The participant wants to ask that, yes, that is relevant to the current situation, that they are
Yeah.
working from home, they are studying at home.
Yeah.
So they are very much interactive with the laptop and mobile phones. In this situation, they are getting stressed. So how
Yeah.
to deal with that?
See, that's definitely a problem, because now you are spending most of the time sitting at home with your, social media and devices. So since it's a mandatory for you to work from home, so you ought to do it. I mean, however, at the same time, you are supposed to take breaks in between. Number one, that is very important, because it will not only help you relieving your eye strain, but at the same time, because after a while you yourself feel fatigued and find difficult to have concentration maintained. So get off from your devices for a while. Take that break time with your family, share that time with your family and friends, discuss with them, pass some remark, some jestful remark to them, share your feelings with them, enjoy with them, then come back to your work. Do your work. At the same time, while you're working, you need to connect with your colleagues as well. Because if you're working continuously on single task, you are likely to get strained. So while doing that work, keeping your focus on that work. Meanwhile, you can have a bit of chat with your colleagues. You can remain connected with your colleagues, and accordingly you can. And then in between, you have to relax, take a break, go around, do some breathing exercises, then come back to your work, and define a time period that I need to sit for this much time only. Because if you keep sitting for long hours, definitely your sleep will also get disturbed, and you are likely to feel more strained. So you have to adapt according to the situation you are living in, according to your efficiency and all the scenarios, that how you can work on that.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you very much, sir. In a limited time, you have tried very well about the current problem and so-called persisting problem, sir. So you have tried to explain in a very, very simple manner. Thank you very much. And of course, we have tried to give uh, answers of lot of questions, and still we have so many questions, but due to lack of time, we are not able to give answers of all questions. But I'm sure and definitely sure you have explained a lot about stress, types of stress, and how to control stress in a such a drastic situation nowadays, because it is a current situation to maintain individually at your own level. So it is a very great session, sir, highly beneficial session for all. And just I want to say one thing to you, that please say something for our students, because the students is the lobby who has to basically very in a situation to get stressed in a very short time.
Yeah, dear friends, it was indeed a pleasure having you guys with me in this session. It is definitely a time of stress, not only for you, for everyone, be it your family member, be it whosoever is the individual. I mean, every countryman is facing this problem. And since you are a student and you need to be more stressed or apprehensive about your studies, being away from your college, being away from your colleagues, and working, staying at home. However, see, there is always a silver lining in every trouble. So you need to look into that. When you are staying at home, spare your time with your family members, share your feeling with them, remain connected with your friends through social networking. Don't get carried away with the fake messages. Most of the time social networking do flow, so don't get carried away with those messages. Try to explore your different artist within you. Try to explore your abilities which you are not able to do so far. So you have enough time staying at home, so try to explore those things and try to work on that. At the same time, don't miss your studies, because time which has been lapsed would definitely be compensated in a short time period. So don't forget that whatever time has lapsed, it will never return and never come back. So the curriculum which has remained would be completed in a very short span of time subsequently. So you need to also remain focused on your study. However, you will get enough time to enjoy with your friends, to enjoy with your family, remain connected with them, spare some time for yoga, some recreational activities, and never get indulged into any bad habit like drugs and alcohol, because it will only devastate you. And dear friends, you have enormous potentials. You are the future of this country. You are in good hands. You have good teachers, mentors. You need to follow their instructions. You need to live in a cohesive environment, and collectively you work, cohesively you work. You will certainly conquer the situations. I've read many articles in all leading papers and many poems as well in English and Hindi. And you might look at them. It is full of positivity. I have written it for everyone. So you might go through that. That might also give you a kind of understanding about the situation. But in nutshell, I would only say that you are the future of the country. You are the stronghold of the country, and you have patiently worked the situation so far. And it is only your patience, your courage, and your talent which is going to get us out of the situation. So be patient, be cheerful, enjoy your study, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.